One observation that I've made in all my years of traveling and living in different countries, especially the West, I realized that communities that have public libraries, public gyms, outdoor parks, playgrounds, designated areas for specific activities, community centers where both the young and the old can come, leisure activities, summer camps, summer programs. You see, these things actually benefit the livelihood. And that's something that we as Africans have to adopt. We as Africans have to have infrastructure. Our planning for communities and our planning for advancement should not skip these areas. Our homes and our greenery and our landscape. In the US, there are such laws that every tree that is cut down, 5 are planted to replace it. And there are certain animals which are endangered, certain species, certain areas which are not up for sale, which are not up for use, but they are just for vegetation and they are preserved and protected by law. Hunting is prohibited to a certain extent. You see, that has allowed the country to enjoy the greenery and the quality of life that we are lacking in Africa. We need to have public libraries that are accessible to young individuals who are being educated, that they can, spaces where individuals can spend doing their homework, doing their schoolwork, doing anything that they need to do. We need spaces that are free, funded by the government. And the books in these libraries, the books in these leisure, rooms or focus rooms should not be books that educate them about colonization only. It should be books that educate them about being African, the different tribes, the different, historical things. Many of the things that we get information in, many of the books that we tend to feed our kids are books that are not about themselves. So our kids don't see themselves as heroes because the books that they read, the textbooks, the information that they are using is information that excludes their identity as Black individuals. So I would urge our governments to make sure that Black writers are getting the ability to have their books in the shelves. That even though they will learn about the outside world, they learn about it from a Black perspective, from an African perspective, that our shelves and that are what we receive, what we buy into, the information, the data that we retrieve and make available to these upcoming young ones and the generation ahead will be information that propagates Blackness and promotes Blackness. Because many of them outside do not use our textbooks. Many of them outside do not use our history. They use their own. So why is it that we have imported their history? Why is it that we have imported their knowledge? And that's just from the library aspect. Let's talk about the gyms as well. Local gyms should be made available that necessarily it's being facilitated by the government. The government facilitates its well-being. It's being cleaned. And we need to stop this Black mentality, African men mentality, where public things are ruined and therefore we think we cannot have nice things. Who told you we cannot have nice things? Because the same Black people, when they move abroad, comply to these social rules and they are able to enjoy the public libraries, enjoy public parks, public reservoirs, public lakes, public attraction sites. So why is that when we come back home to our own homeland, we forget about the rules? It's just a matter of civilization. Gyms are very much necessary. It would give individuals places to go and exert their energy, go and work off all the food, all the junk that has been consumed, build up themselves. The parks, we have many children that need to go to the parks, need to mingle, need to roam freely, designated toys, designated environments, designated areas that kids can just be kids and not just be locked up, cooped up in their homes. They're not poultry chicken, for crying out loud. So these are certain things that I have observed personally in my years of traveling, especially from the West, that the West promotes community living. The West promotes facilities for elderlies that they can go and get amenities. They can go and gain, free dental stuff, insurance working as a united healthcare, a system that is for everyone. As long as you are working, your job is connected to some kind of benefit, whether it's dental, whether it's vision. These are some of the things that we need to promote in Africa. Promote benefiting things, promote the government setting in place infrastructure, building up places, libraries, building up. Let's stop increasing the bars and the places of entertainment, and let's start investing in places that will enhance our proper use of leisure time. Leisure times, art centers, studios that will benefit individuals to find their talents, to be poured into. Computer labs that are open. Internet cafes that are not just internet cafes, but have new technology that kids can interface with and be updated. Not just using old material, because the children in this world nowadays, technology has advanced to the point where if we do not constantly allow our kids to have the best of the best, and the government does not pour into our IT and our AI infrastructure, guess what? We'll be operating on outdated data, and many of our prospects will go outside and be educated and work for the white man. Meanwhile, we could have regulated these things home. But if our governments are not building infrastructure, let's even talk about the traffic and the road. Our roads needs to be updated. Our traffic navigation, parking, areas designated for parking, areas designated for pedestrian walking. If people want to go on walks,